Hello guys, in this video we are going to learn about unit testing. So, the purpose of unit testing is to ensure that each unit of software code works as expected. A unit can be a function, method, module, object, or other entity in application source code. So we are going to look at an example so you can understand what's the purpose of unit testing. So we have this simple function that adds two numbers and returns the result. So let's create a unit test for this function. Press on Ctrl+Shift+T and click on create new test. Select the method that you wanna test. Okay, now create an instance of the class that you wanna test. Calculations equals new calculations. Okay, now let's call the function. Let's give it 4 and 4. Okay, let's put this in a variable so we can check the results. Results equal. Okay, so now we are going to test the results of this function. Let's call assertions class and let's call the method assert equal. There are a lot of methods that we are going to see in next videos. Now we are going to use assert equals. So assert equals takes two parameters. The first parameter is the expected result, the result that we are expecting from this function. For example, we are expecting 8, and the second parameter we are going to pass the actual result. Okay, we are going to pass the variable and click on this, run, and we are starting our tests. So as you can see here, the test is passed. So what about if we expected 7 and rerun the test? And of course the test will fail. Expected 7 and the actual result is 8. Okay, so we use the unit test to test the functionality, whether it is doing the right job or not. So we are going to look at another example. Okay, let's look at this example. We have this function that throws an exception for some reason, and the reason why we need unit tests in our code is, just imagine you have deployed the version of this code to production, and after some days the client asked you to add some more restrictions to the function. And of course we don't want to break our code, we want to make sure that the function is still doing its job before we deploy our application to production. So we run the test. If the tests pass, all good, we can deploy. If they fail, then the refactor we made to the function in order to add restrictions broke it and made it now not working anymore. So without wasting any time, let's test this method. This method takes an integer as a parameter. It checks if it's less than 10, it throws the exception, you are not allowed to see master's courses, else it prints welcome. So let's hold Shift Ctrl T, create new tests, select the method. Okay, let's call the method. Wait, I'm going to make this global so we can access it. Calculations dot check age, and I'm going to pass 9. We are going to test the case where it will draw the exception. What we have here, add exception to method signature, assertions, and now we are going to use assert throws. I'm going to copy this and put it here, but the first parameter will be the type of the exception that we are drawing. In this case it's exception class, and in here I'm going to pass executable. Okay, so now we are asserting that the method will draw an exception because we passed 9. Let's run the tests. And as you can see here, the test is passed. So what about now if I passed 12? In this case it will print welcome. It won't draw the exception. So let's run the tests. And as you can see here, the test is failing because we are asserting that the method will draw an exception. But in this case we passed 12, so it does not go into draw the exception, so the test is failing.